Alright, we want to continue with our figure here. Now we've got the head cut down. We now have worked on the feet, and now we're going to go to the arms. In other words, we have driven, there we go. We've drawn the arms on to the little Civil War slave, and we're going to cut those now to fit. And we just do like we normally do on a figure. I thought this would be an interesting figure to do. A lot of people don't, we have a generation of people that don't want to remember times and people, and they just they feel that they just don't want to remember anything like this. But even though we want to regret it, slavery was a part of it wasn't a good thing, but it was something that was a part of our history. And instead of wanting to forget it, we need to honor those people who were slaves and say, well, you know, they went through it just like my father went through a Japanese POW camp. I mean, we want to sometimes forget about it, but we need to honor these people. They went through a lot in their lives, and they sacrificed a lot. So anyway, I love the Civil War period, and this is a little Civil War maid, or as they would call them, mammies. They would actually take care of the plantations. They would take care of the children. They would do things like that, and a lot of them became very, very close to their masters, as we might say. And okay, what we're doing now is simply removing the part of the arm that's right here. Alright, and we're going to go over on this side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start removing this area here away from the arms. Y'all can see my hands are not quite as, they're strong, but they're, you know, and what I explained to y'all is that after about 15 to 20, well, it's about 15 minutes, my fingers start to go numb, so then I have to rest them for a day, maybe two, and before I can do this again. So these are in segments. In fact, I'm carving in another place right now, as you can see, the flooring and everything like that. I can go through about 2 sessions of videos, and then I have to stop and wait. So that's why this video will probably take me a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks to do, because I'm going to go through the painting with you and everything like that. And okay. Go a little bit deeper with our hands, our arms, and we're going to put hands on her. You simply do what you have to do. I don't particularly like it. I love to carve, and I miss not carving every day, but you do what you have to do to get by. And that's what this is all about. I haven't lost my carving ability. But if I had continued to not do as my doctor says, or and continue, I could very well, lose it. He says this is not something that will paralyze me or anything like that. It's just something that I have to be very, very careful of, because it is a nerve, and we're trying to avoid surgery or anything like that. So, okay. But can I feel it when I carve? Of course I can. I can feel the nerve itself pressing in my hand whenever I do this. Okay. Okay, now these we have to remove the wood away from here because the hands are going to be here. All right. Slowly bringing this down. Get my pencil. Of course, we're going to bring the arms up in this fashion, in this manner. How they are part of the body. And in a way, we kind of make this area in here a little bit thinner, and a little bit more on the hands down here. Okay, we're going to bring this down a little bit. This face. All right. A little bit more depth to the hands. And a little bit more like this. Okay. Now let's go ahead and establish our hands down here. And establish our hands here. We won't necessarily. Usually the slaves wore long sleeves, or the mammies in the house, as we call them. They wore long sleeve dresses, as did most women back in that time, or that era. a little bit more depth to the hands. This is not an extremely difficult figure. It's just a figure that I like. These are figures I love to do. It's a little bit different. Recently I did a little miniature black preacher, and it was a lot of fun to do. And I love the old style carvings. I love the old style way that they did it. Alright, well then basically these are the hands. They don't have to protrude out a whole lot, in other words. They're what we need. Okay, see that? Okay, just 1 second. Let me get something here. All right. Okay. All right, let's go back to the head a little bit here. And now on this dress, basically we're going to kind of come up like this and come down like this, in other words, on the front of the dress, because basically she's wearing sort of a, we're going to cut, and we're going to kind of come up like this, okay? Sort of right under the area here that is her breast area. They were very simple clothing that they wore. Very simple clothing. They were slaves, and they, like I said, I know that was a period that a lot of people want to forget, but we cannot forget those periods. We have to realize they existed, and instead of forgetting them, let's just honor the people that went through them and lived and can tell the stories. And it's not a pleasant time, but neither was wars or anything like that. So okay, now we also want to run down just above there where this is the oh golly, I went blank, folks. I'm sorry. This is the apron that she's wearing, which we're going to cut down here. Come up here. Cut. 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 I want to be careful in this area not to break anything. You can use your V-tool, but we're going to use a knife. That's going to be the apron that she's wearing. Then the apron will, of course, come to the back here, around the back, and like so. In other words, and then we'll put a okay, I think my time's about up. But so we're getting the arms down. We'll kind of cut in like that. Most of these women were thin women, hardworking, very dedicated, even though they went through a lot in their lives. They were marvelous cooks. They were just good people that were in a very bad situation during this time in the war. And also we're going to, from here we're going to come down. I'm going to make a kind of a collar here, which we come down. We just follow the collar. Like I said, you can do this with a V-tool, but we're going to do it with a knife. Alright, I think my time is just about up. So we'll end this video, and we'll continue with it. Okay? Okay, thank you so much for the patience that all my carving friends out there are having, because I'm going to start carving again, but it's just not going to be as much, because it's just not feasible for me, and I have to, you know, do it and take care of myself too. And I am just loving this, folks, being able to come back and work with you on this, and with the piece and everything like that. Okay.